What's going on, boxing fans? It's Julian Williams with The Distance. Here to give you my prediction for this upcoming matchup on May 1st. Kind of an early prediction. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Sugar Shane Mosley. Perhaps the biggest matchup of the year. Putting together the number 2 pound for pound best in the world and like the number 3 pound for pound best fighter of the world. Two of the best welterweights colliding as well. Two of the top 3. So overall, this is a really good matchup. Mayweather Mosley. I'm not sure if it's even for the WBA welterweight title or not, because I know that Floyd tends to fight for the WBC. So he did make a mention of he could keep, Mosley could keep the belt, whatever. WBC is the official championship, whatever. But overall, what matters the most is not the championship on the line, but the fight. And really, I think that both fighters are going to come in the fight. They're both going to come in. They're going to have the best game plans, best strategies, that they could possibly think of. And as far as strategy goes, who pretty much strategizes as well as Nazeem Richardson. Nazeem Richardson, hands down, is one of the best trainers, in boxing today, along with Freddie Roach and Nacho Beristain. He's one of the pound for pound best trainers. And pretty much a very good philosopher as well as far as boxing goes. I think he's the man that you want in your corner. And Shane Mosley has that. Shane Mosley has that strategist that can pretty much help mold Shane Mosley into victory. In the last fight against Antonio Margarito that took place January 2009, we saw a lot of improvements with Shane Mosley. And a lot of people can debate whether or not Margarito was tailor-made for Mosley, because he was a fighter that didn't really move his head and kind of depended on his chin. But at the end of the day, we saw some improvements from Shane Mosley. Because if you remember months before, Ricardo Mayorga was another fighter that didn't really move his head. But, Mayorga kind of gave Mosley a little bit of trouble. He did knock out Mayorga towards the end, but we just, and looking at that fight, there was a thought of Shane being a shadow of his former self. And a lot of people really underestimated him coming into the Margarito fight. And against Margarito, he had a new trainer in his corner. Jack Mosley was no longer his trainer, his father, of course. Nazeem Richardson was in his corner. And we saw a different Shane Mosley. We saw pretty much a revitalized and refined Shane Mosley. And Shane Mosley came in. We saw a lot of improvements to his game. But at the same time, there were some adjustments that needed to be made. Because if you look at Shane's whole career, he tended to get hit with a lot of right hands against Winky Wright, against Miguel Cotto, and against Ricardo Mayorga. 3 main fights I could think of. He tended to get hit with right hands. He would tend to get caught up in exchanges at times as well. This is a fighter, Floyd Mayweather Jr., who's not going to exchange with him. Floyd's not going to exchange. Floyd is a type of fighter who adjusts and adapts and pretty much knows how to fight practically almost any style, and has beaten just about any style you could think of, and adapted to almost every any style you could think of. Floyd does a really good job of strategizing, but at the same time, he claims to not watch fights, though I do think he possibly does watch some of these fights and analyze. I know that he's watched Shane Mosley, and more than likely watched the fight against Margarito, and Shane Mosley made a statement in that fight when he knocked out the man that a lot of people thought had one of the best chins ever since Jake LaMotta. Shane Mosley knocked him out and has been winning this fight. And Floyd Mayweather Jr., hands down, one of the most skilled fighters in the world, pound for pound, one of the best. But right now he's on that level with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's above him because he continued fighting over the last few years, and overall, I don't even know who would win a fight out of Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. That's something that I'm not going to analyze until that fight happens. But we all know Floyd Mayweather Jr. is one of the most skilled and one of the most technically sound fighters in recent years, in recent history. Defensive specialist, great counterpuncher. Can do many different things in the ring. And in this fight, we're gonna see the best out of both of them, more than likely. So Shane Mosley, in this fight, Oscar De La Hoya talked about how Floyd Mayweather Jr. couldn't protect himself from the jab. And Oscar, in that fight, Floyd was having a little bit of trouble against the jab in that fight, though Oscar was a naturally bigger fighter, and this fight was at a different weight class. So Shane Mosley, being the bigger fighter, does need to use his jab, and we saw improvements with his jab in the fight against Antonio Margarito. We saw a lot of improvements with his jab. His jab, if you look at fights before the Margarito fight, his jab was he kind of just flickered his jab out there. But in the Margarito fight, his jab was very stiff. It was very stiff, it was very precise, and he used it to set up his knockout. Shane needs to follow up his jab. Shane needs to probably throw about 3 jabs and follow with maybe a body shot. He does also need to get his left hand up, and after he throws his shots, he needs to get the left hand up, because Floyd more than likely will counter those shots. Floyd does a very good job of with the counter left hook and the counter right hook, and at the same time can do a very good job of hooking off the jab. So Shane Mosley has to be on the defense. I mean, not on the defense, but on offense the whole fight. He's a very strong finisher. We know that he can go to full 12. He has to be on the offense. He has to be on the attack for the full 12. There's no way of there's really no way of beating Floyd Mayweather if he hadn't been beaten. But really, I just think that Shane Mosley needs to keep his jab out there. He needs to pretty much attack the whole fight. That's really what Shane Mosley needs to do. He needs to be on the attack, for full 12. And on top of that, other game plans, other strategies. Because Floyd Mayweather does adjust and adapt. He needs something else when Floyd adapts. He needs to do something else that will work just as effective, so that just in order to give Floyd trouble. Because if Floyd consistently adapts and Mosley has a different plan, it's going to be trouble for Mayweather. And because he can't adapt for a full 12, he has to get something off. Especially if you have a different strategy. And Floyd Mayweather Jr. needs to get that right hand in. Shane Mosley does come in on the inside quite a bit. He comes in, but he does, even in the Margarito fight, tend to get hit with right hands. Overhand right is pretty much going to be should be Floyd's weapon in this fight. Just because there are times that Mosley misses with his left hand. There's times that he misses. Sometimes he swings a little too wide. And other than that, the susceptibility to right hands can pretty much lead to that counter overhand right being open. He needs to, and other than that, since we know Nazim Richardson is probably gonna make Shane Mosley jab in this fight, considering that he did have a bit of trouble with Oscar, which is irrelevant, to be quite honest, because it was a different weight class. I do think that Floyd Mayweather needs to keep that right hand up, keep the right hand up, and pretty much try to get that straight left hand off, that straight left hand right down the middle. And he does also need to stay off the ropes against Mosley. Though Mayweather is shown to be able to fight and counter off the ropes, against a big puncher like Shane Mosley, a naturally bigger and naturally stronger fighter who has speed and power, that's kind of taking a risk, because I do think if Mosley hurts Mayweather, then Mosley's going to go for the kill most definitely. And pretty much Mayweather just needs to focus on boxing, pretty much staying on the outside, using superior footwork in this fight, and countering. But anyway, I'm running out of time here because there's so many dots going through my head about this fight. But me, I'm going to go with Floyd Mayweather Jr. Very close, unanimous decision in a very tough competitive fight. But anyway, that was The Distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.